Okay, if I'm gonna keep talking about StarCraft Heroes, I think it's about time I finally played this game.
3 days later.
I can honestly say I didn't see any of that coming. Well played, you beautiful bastards. This is the Heroes of the Storm Heroic Spotlight, and today we're looking at Alarak, the High Lord of the Tal'Darim.
Have you come seeking wisdom? You certainly need it.
So, it's not often that I choose spotlights myself. Usually I try to stick to suggestions, or in the case of Probius and Cassia, whoever was new at the time. This time, however, I'm gonna get a little self-indulgent. See, I really did finish StarCraft 2 recently, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Way more than the first one, and I didn't even think that was possible. But besides the awesome story, playing through the game let me see characters that I met through the Nexus on their own home turf. And by the end of it all, do you know who I really wanted to see way more of?
Free to play is a delusion granted to the weak by the strong. Or so I've heard.
If there was anyone who I felt was underplayed in StarCraft 2, it was this guy. Everything about him is just so badass. His look, his moves, and especially that voice.
Oh, I didn't realize I could grow more powerful.
John Delancey was an absolute perfect choice to bring this dark, wily asshole to life, and you can just feel it in every single line he says. I know it's a weird thing to fixate on, but fuck it. I'm doing this spotlight because Alarak has a cool-ass voice. His passive is called Sadism, and you just know with a name like that this ability's gonna be good. It grants Alarak a 100% ability power and self-healing increase against enemy heroes. With each takedown, Sadism raises by 3%, up to a maximum of 30, meaning the more you kill and the less you die, the more effective you'll be. You know, kinda like real life. Honestly, this is a pretty cool passive. I mean, the whole reason you play an assassin is to deal damage and get kills, and with a big glowing bar of red death to encourage you, it's kinda hard not to get into it. Alarak just excels at dealing damage. It's almost sickening, really. Fuck you! See, that's not okay. His Q is Discord Strike. After a small delay, enemies in front of Alarak are hit for moderate damage, as well as silence for 1.75 seconds. That's right, a silence. In his basic kit. Not only does this make it amazing for trading with an enemy, but it can be essential in cutting off escapes as well. Now this is going to be your main method of attack, especially when combined with your W. The damage this puts out with your sadism bonuses is just scary, and thanks to its added silence, there aren't many instances where a surviving enemy can put up much of an argument. Telekinesis is Alarak's W, and, as I mentioned, is an amazing piece of his combos. With it, Alarak creates a force that moves any enemy, or even Alarak himself, into certain directions. Enemies hit take minor damage, but the primary use of this is going to be chaining it with your Q. You see what I did there? It's funny, because he played a guy named Q, and...
Oh, now that was clever.
You can use telekinesis to drag enemies in close, then proc your Discord for some nice damage. This is one of your best ways to secure kills early on, and even in late game lets your team capitalize on enemy positioning. It's also a great escape if you find yourself caught out with no way to win. Either shove enemies back that are trying to chase you, or use it to push yourself forward and escape their shots. The real trick here is getting used to how it works, but after a few attempts, you'll get the hang of it.
Oh dear, I expected so much more.
Damn, man. That's cold. That brings us to his E. Lightning Sir... wait a minute. So this guy uses telekinetic powers, has deadly lightning, and his main colors are red and black. Is Alarak a Sith Lord? Because I feel like Alarak is a Sith Lord. Anyway, Lightning Surge. This ability deals a small amount of damage to an enemy, but also an extra 100% additional damage to enemies between Alarak and his target. The key to mastering your... I'm just gonna call it Sith Lightning because that's what it is. But the key to it is just to poke at the backline, because in doing that, you'll not only deal way more damage to their tanks and melee assassins, but you also gain that much more sustain. Oh, did I not mention that? Yeah, on top of everything else, Alarak also has a self-heal. For each hero hit with his E, he regains a small amount of health. And don't forget that your passive buffs that as well. It's like, why even have a healer, right?
Is this the best healing you can do?
What is your deal?
Now seems like a good time to talk about his talents. That is, the ones that I prefer anyway. When it comes to Alarak, most of his damage seems to come from his initial WQ combo, so I tend to focus on that, buffing things like damage and adding a slow, and, when possible, upping your passive. Level 13 in particular offers 3 variations on talents for sadism, and, to be honest, I'm still not sure which one I prefer. Blade of the High Lord is great for matches where you can really get in deep and slash away with your autos. Rite of Rakshir shines when you just want to pick one enemy and focus the hell out of it. And Pure Malice is... you take this when Blizzard matches you with feeders and bads, so you'll be taking this a lot. So in the case of heroics, Alarak has a unique thing that no one else shares. He's the only hero in the game who can obtain both over the course of one match. See, rather than making a choice and living with it, you're actually able to take the remaining heroic at 20 if you so choose. This makes his kit twice as deadly, as both are amazing picks and each have relatively low cooldowns. The first is Deadly Charge. After channeling, Alarak dashes forward in a straight line, dealing moderate damage to every enemy in his path. The distance of this increases based on how long you channel for, but only to a max of 1.6 seconds. Now this is great as an engage or to chase down a fleeing opponent, but if you find that you're going to be off target after channeling, just move Alarak to cancel the heroic at no cost. This is an amazing bit of leeway granted by Blizzard, and it's probably because getting hit by anything will cancel the ability. His second heroic is Counter-Strike. Oh, I'm sure there's some die-hard FPS fans out there just waiting for the obvious joke. Alarak targets an area and channels for 1 second, becoming both protected and unstoppable throughout it. If he takes any damage from a hero during this time, he sends out a shockwave dealing moderate damage. Now, out of the two, this is my favorite heroic. It's great for messy teamfights and for picking off enemies who are too quick to engage you. It can be dodged kind of easily and even countered by simply not attacking Alarak during his channel, but more often than not you'll find people aren't that quick to react, and if they do, the cooldown isn't that bad anyway. The other reason I prefer this one is because I just cannot seem to get Deadly Charge to work right. I will either get knocked out of it, or drastically misaim myself, or dive in and get obliterated. Now don't let this discourage you from taking it, I'm just bad. This means you should already know what talent to take if you get matched with me.
Really? Really? You feel big? Damn it! That was my ult, you bitch!
Guess what? I didn't use my ult to kill steal that.
It was perfect! You ruined it!
Now you're dead.
I'm so mad!
Now, because level 20 means you can take whatever heroic you didn't already have, neither of these two abilities come with a talent buff. You can, however, choose to forego double ulting in favor of two of the strangest 20 talents I've ever seen. Last Laugh is a weird Bolt of the Storm kind of deal with a catch. Once you use it, all roots, slows, and damage over time effects are removed from Alarak, but if he fails to hit an enemy hero 3 times with basic abilities in the span of 4 seconds, his health falls to 1. This means that unless you are absolutely sure the teleport will get you to safety, this isn't an escape. And I can't imagine you use this as an engage over charge, so I really don't know where the draw is here. The other is Hasty Bargain. Upon using it, all of Alarak's basic abilities are refreshed, but at the cost of a 4% drop in sadism, and that drop is permanent. Considering how vital his passive is to his damage, this can quickly turn against you if you're not careful, but the instant cooldowns can definitely help swing a fight in your favor. I've just never seen 20 talents come with such a painful drawback before. Honestly, they kind of fit Alarak to a T. So when all is said and done, where does Alarak fit in the Nexus? Well, he's a great choice if you need a bit of control, a bit of engage, and a lot of damage. So, most comps, really. He really shines when he can just go to work or dive in on one unsuspecting enemy in particular, but if he gets focused down, he doesn't stand a chance. Like with most heroes, stuns and silences just outright ruin him, and without a solid tank or a support to back you up, any sort of 2v1 can quickly turn against you. His kit seems very geared towards dueling and taking out enemies one at a time, and considering his origins in StarCraft 2, I'd say that's exactly what he was meant to do.
Indeed. That's why my victory shall be the sweetest of ecstasy.
God, he's so cool! Hey everyone, thanks for watching. As always, a huge shout out to Vixen for the amazing artwork, and honestly just putting up with my disappearances for so long. Make sure you take a second to show her work some love. And as always, I'm eager to hear what you guys think of this one, so let me know in the comments below, as well as who you'd like to see next. So until next time, I'll see you in the Nexus.